We are finally watching Queen today, and we are talking about Freddie Mercury. This is a live performance from 1979, and the song is Don't Stop Me Now. Here we go.
Hey, hey! I'm gonna have myself a real good time. I feel alive. And the stop me 'cause I'm having a good time. Having a good time. I'm chilling out to the sky like a tiger, flying the road of gravity. I'm racing now, passing by, I'm letting it down. I'm gonna go, there's no stopping me. Burning through the sky, 200 degrees, the sun coming just about high. Dropping the speed of light, sun's shining right on you. Don't stop me now, I'm having such a good time. Having fun, don't stop me now. You wanna have a good time? Give me a call, don't stop me now. Don't stop me, having a good time. Don't stop me at all.
Ooh, okay. There's just so much to say about his voice is so good, and he as a performer, I mean, obviously we all know it, just mind-blowing the talent that this man possessed. I want to say, I know that the audio quality, even the video quality, isn't exceptional with this particular recording, but I love watching Freddie Mercury live. There's something that is so special and so magical. And yes, the studio recordings are exceptional as well, but it's a whole different experience. And so I'm gonna go back to the beginning. Obviously, I marvel every time watching him on stage, especially when he's at the piano, because you've got to do so much mentally. You know, obviously you get to a point where sure, some things happen on autopilot and muscle memory takes over and all of these things, but you're still thinking when you're playing an instrument, no matter how little you have to think about it. And then vocally, this is such a challenging song. The big reason I picked this song is because it is so challenging for so many reasons, and I'm sure a lot of singers who have attempted it can relate. So we're gonna go all the way back to the beginning. Here we go.
Hey, hey! I'm gonna have myself a real good time.
Right off the bat, we're getting so much power. And when you're sitting, this is a good sort of thing to point out for singers. A lot of times, I feel like every teacher ever is always, telling singers, make sure you're standing, make sure you're standing. But the fact is that a lot of us don't have the luxury of standing while we perform. And not just, if you're at a keyboard or a piano, if you're doing any kind of acting or, depending on your staging, you have to be in all sorts of different positions. So when singers ask, would you rather I be standing? I always say, let's try both. It's never a bad thing to stand. Sometimes people benefit from having their legs under them, or just feeling like they are a bit more grounded. But then other times people feel more grounded when they are just thinking about their hips. And so you can do that when you're sitting. But the amount of air pressure and breath control he's exerting in this moment is so beautiful. And he's already giving us some variety. He's taking moments where instead of doing full adduction and tons of air pressure, maybe he's backing off the air pressure a little bit, or maybe he's relaxing the muscles around his cords a little bit so that there's a little bit of separation, so that it's not he's not feeling all the power of that breath control. You know, we're not getting this super present sound.
Myself a real good time. I feel alive. And
Now here, this is one of the reasons this song is so challenging. And he is such a brilliant performer because he's taking a moment to, whether or not he needed the rest, doesn't matter, but he's taking a moment and giving himself vocal rest. And on top of that, he's able to focus on his piano playing. So it's such a smart move. And the place that he chose to make this decision to do that for himself, I think was also brilliant, because we're at the beginning of this piece and things are gradually building. I just adore this man. Oh, the other thing I want you to notice as he's singing is obviously, you know, genetics, they are what they are. But because his jaw, I don't know, I'm not a dentist. I don't know if you would technically classify his jaw placement as, you know, or jaw position as an overbite, but the advantage to the structure of his jaw is that he doesn't often pull his jaw forward. Some of us do that to get our teeth to meet in front, but you don't see him pulling his jaw forward as often as a lot of singers do. It's just like dropping down and back, and it's so beautiful. This is just such a beautiful angle to see that, and I love it. I'm gonna back it up a little.
I feel alive.
We'll keep going. I know I mentioned before the audio and video quality aren't as great on this particular clip, but listening again, oh my gosh, I'm still blown away at the quality of this live performance, considering how, period, I should say that, period. But then considering how difficult this piece is to sing, you are just kind of in a very low tessitura for a lot of this song, and then it climbs. And it is so challenging when you just feel like a song is slowly but surely getting higher and higher, because it's really challenging to not let your larynx go with it. You know, the larynx will move a little bit as we sing higher, but to not, you know, you don't want your larynx in your eyeballs, you know, to keep a nice neutral laryngeal position while doing all of this is so impressive. can't get over his jaw position. It's so good. And the way he creates space, I've said it before, sort of imagine you're biting an apple. When you widen your palate in the back, it's so helpful in vocal production. And he's creating almost just a little bit of space between his molars. So we're getting this gorgeous oral cavity space. And I mean, the sound is so stunning. It's so well balanced. We always get this warmth and this depth, but this beautiful ping that just makes it soar across everything else we're hearing. It's so exciting. And again, you could pick out just about any phrase in this piece and it just slowly but surely inches higher. And so the fact that he is staying so grounded throughout this entire piece, even though it is so high energy, is just incredible. It's incredible. Here we go. Oftentimes when we think of the vocals in Queen songs and which ones are the most challenging, I feel like Bohemian Rhapsody always makes it to the top. And absolutely, it deserves its place. But I think a big part of that is because we hear so much contrast in that particular song. Whereas a lot of their rock songs that require a ton of stamina, a ton of power and volume, and like I mentioned, they just ascend the entire time. Personally, I think some of those can be the most challenging to sing, but they make it look so, I mean, Freddie Mercury makes it look so easy, and the group as a whole, when they're collaborating, they just look so chill, and just so many things. So I just say all of this to emphasize how skilled they are when it comes to the songs that maybe seem like more like anthems or ballads, but truly are equally as challenging to perform and to master. The other thing I want to talk about is his vibrato. I love Freddie Mercury's vibrato so much. It definitely has a faster rate than what we typically hear from a lot of Western singers. Now, I love talking about vibrato because oftentimes singers, struggle to develop vibrato, and I'm a big believer that all it is a balance of air pressure and muscle tension. And there are obviously a lot of other things you can do to create vibrato if you don't want it to happen naturally in the larynx. And again, I'm not an ENT. I am not, I'm not watching his chords when this happens. I don't know exactly what's happening in his larynx, but because of the volume at which he sang so often and the amount of air pressure he utilized, I am a big believer that he was able to create that faster vibrato because of his air pressure. And I think, I think it's such a beautiful sound, and it fits so well with everything they did. If you couldn't tell, I'm a fan. We will definitely be listening to more from Queen, but personally, I just thought this was a great place to start. So thank you guys so much for watching with me, and hopefully I will see you next time.